Hello, I'm Doug and this is a Taste and Sensibility channel. And today we're at Mild Melty Cheeses episode 17 where we're looking at Prairie Tomme from Green Dirt Farm, Missouri. So a Tomme is a more country style rustic type cheese, homemade at a home dairy at a single farm. And this is described, the variety is described in Liz Thorpe's The Book of Cheese, where I get most of my ideas for this series, in her Havarti Gateway, which is the third chapter in here. But this particular cheese is not listed in here, but I saw it at a cheese shop and I said, I know what that is. I think it'll be really interesting. So this was exorbitantly expensive at $45 a pound. But I wanted to try a different kind of Tomme. So this is made in a little town of Weston, Missouri, and it's made from sheep milk. And they let a rind grow on it naturally. They make a big wheel. And I've seen a video, so this is where I'm getting all the details from, not from the book. They make a big wheel and throw it in a cave and let it age. And they wash it from time to time. So it's a washed-rind cheese in addition to whatever else they do to make it. But they say it ages 2 to 4 months. So we will get into it and see what it's like. And it's sheep milk is higher fat content than cow milk, so it's already leaving behind stains and puddles and oozing stuff. So it's a pretty much room temperature. So I think we're gonna have a good time with this one. But before I start cutting it, let me remind you to like this video, leave comments and questions down below, share it with friends, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to get notified when the new videos come out. So this has a really stinky, dirty, wet wood, wet hay, rotting hay, barnyard type aroma to it. I'm trying to smell the cheese in the middle and it's pretty much, I can't distinguish. Okay, the outer rind is more intense aromas. So what should I do for cutting? I'm going to make a little triangular shape here and get rid of the rind. Most people would not enjoy eating that. Although lots of the cheese characteristics, aroma and flavor do come from the rind organisms. But we're done with them. We're done now. They've done their work. So, oh yeah. These are going to be some nice tastes. So I think I'll start away from the rind and see what I find. So this cheese is much more neutral. Just the cheese part, away from the rind. Just smells like lots of other cheeses in this group, or even more aged things. So let's go for it. Not very moist, maybe even dry, but pasty. A little bit closer to the rind is kind of tough. Oh yeah, there are dairy notes, but they're starting to recede because of the age, and the sheep milk flavor is strong. Grassy, pasture-like grass. And I'm looking for a tang that often comes with sheep milk cheeses. I'm not sure I'm getting that. This piece is moisture, so as you move in away from the rind, you might be getting more moisture in the center. Okay, very good, very interesting. Slight tang, very faint, hard to pick up, but there's buttery notes, there's almost nutty notes, almost like it's getting to a Swiss cheese kind of flavor. So I'm going to get a little piece and put it on a piece of bread. This bread is moist and wheaty. And about as flavorful as the cheese. So I got some dairy notes, I got some salt from the cheese up against the bread. And they were about the same power in flavors. So only tasted half the cheese flavors, I think. Okay, now I've got it on a little multi-grain cracker. Salty, aged, barnyard, grass, all sorts of things. Didn't get the tang on the cracker, but the sheep milk fat and richness is all there. And now I'm getting close to the rind on the other side with this piece, so we'll see how this goes on a low salt Triscuit. Salty wheatiness from the cracker and the cheese sort of disappeared, so maybe I need bigger pieces or smaller crackers. Let me get another set of pieces here. Okay, I'm going to put one piece on a crostini, which is also oily and very salty. So the cheese flavors are not poking through when they're even with crackers. Whether it's next to the rind or in the center. So this is kind of odd. So this cheese might be best enjoyed by itself. The texture is really interesting. Semi-moist to the dry side, a little pasty, and a rich mouthfeel from all the fat. And then the flavors, it's quite a spectrum. Quite a range of flavors just in one little piece. From grassy and barnyardish, and those are mild, and the tiny little sheep tang that is usually stronger in sheep milk cheeses. And then out to the nuttiness or aged aspects of it. But it's not all that old, it's only 4 months for the oldest ones when they start selling it. Wow. So I like the cheese, but it's not really holding up to crackers. And I just noticed a couple minutes ago that I didn't bring my pairing plate. So through the magic of editing, it won't take any time at all to fix that. So I've got the pairing plates here, and I'm going to try, after I found out how mild this thing is, I threw some golden raisins on the pairing plate because they have failed against most cheeses, pairing with most cheeses, because their flavors are so mild. Now, if I can do a balancing act here, I'm going to try, I'll just put them in. Okay, they failed again. The cheese is way stronger in flavors and just galloped and stomped all over the golden raisins. So, I'm going to try a slice of peach, which is slippery and hard to grab. Let me get a nice sized piece of the cheese, Prairie Tomme with fresh peach. I don't think I'll do the whole thing, I'll do bites. Interesting. Not much of a texture contrast, but the flavors really bounce off each other very well. Oh, very good. Like most fresh fruit and cheese combinations, the contrasts are pretty strong. Moist fruit versus drier cheese, and salty cheese versus unsalted fruit. And the brightness of the fruit flavors, there's a sweetness to it, of course, and a tartness to it. And there's no real counterparts in the cheese. So just wonderful contrast with that peach. And now, risking putting it back on a cracker, we'll try a piece next to the rind and a couple of dried cherries. Okay, let's skip the cracker, just do the cheese and the dried cherries. Let's see how that goes. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Again, the texture isn't the main thing or texture contrast, but the flavors really play off each other very well. So it's not a moisture thing, but it is salt, it is fruity, it's a acidity of the fruit and the tanginess. Oh, that's great. Okay, another plus. So, tempts me to go to the almonds. I don't know if I should use one or two. I'll just use one to make sure I crunch it up good. Mmm. That goes really well. So there's no contrast concerning moisture or salt, but the nuttiness of the almonds just bounces off the cheese very well. And for my last pairing item, I'm going to use this pepper jelly, which is called Blackberry Cabernet Cajun Pepper Jelly. Robin's Rockin Cajun Pepper Jelly. So this was in a video. Let me read what the chilies are. Sugar, blackberries, Cabernet Sauvignon. Packed in habanero and butter. So it's a really good blackberry jelly. It's a little bit of red wine and some habaneros that will let you know they're there. Now let's see if my blob is too big. Probably too big, but I'm going to go for it. Pepper jelly and Prairie Tomme. Oh yeah. Very good. So these wet fruits work out really well. Dried fruits, except golden raisins. Nuts, everything goes with this. But the crackers I found hid, even the bread and crackers hid, covered up even the stronger flavors of this cheese. So, kind of interesting how this works. So I'll put links to Green Dirt Farm dairy, and I'll go ahead and link to that video that taught me about this particular cheese and told me it was sheep's milk, and I don't know if I see it on the label. It does say it. So that'll do it for episode number 17. Come back for our next interesting cheese, and cheers!